We're going to look at a really simple chemical reaction. This is the reaction used to make aspirin, and I've used words and abbreviations here. This is salicylic acid and acetic anhydride, and I'm just going to call them SA and AA to kind of make it easier to keep track of what's going on. So let's just say that I put together in the lab, I put together 1 mole of SA, salicylic acid, and 2 moles of AA. Now I didn't show you, these coefficients are all 1. Okay, so an equation where they're all a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, and so this is what I was talking about, how we decide when we're doing chemistry which is in excess and what is our theoretical yield and so forth. What we do is we look at each one and decide how much product you could get. So I'm going to start by looking at the the salicylic acid. There's 1 mole. If all of that reacted, I would get 1 mole of aspirin. Okay, and then I'm going to ignore salicylic acid and look at acetic anhydride. There are 2 moles of AA, and if all of that reacted, I would get 2 moles of aspirin. Okay, and then I compare those 2 numbers, and the lower one is the theoretical yield. So I always cross out the one that over predicted how much product, and the theoretical yield is the 1 mole, the lower amount predicted. Okay, so that means the one that predicts the lower amount is my limiting reagent. And we sometimes abbreviate that. And the one that over predicted product we call our excess reagent. Okay, and that's how I was saying we will predict those, is we'll look at how much yield based on each of the reactants, choose the one that predicts the lesser amount of product, and that is the true amount of product, and that reactant is the limiting reagent. So here are some definitions. I want you to note that the word reagent means reactant. And so a limiting reagent will always be one of the reactants that is there before the arrow. But sometimes that's confusing because we determine which one is limiting based on how much product there is, but it's always referring to a reactant. Okay, because all of the limiting reagent reacts and some of the excess is just there and has nothing to do with the amount of product that's there, just like extra bread doesn't give you more sandwiches, all of your calculations have to be based on the limiting reagent. Kind of like with our predicting how many sandwiches we could get. We looked at how many tomatoes we had because they ran out.